player in the NFL, with very little hesitation, you said
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Everybody knows that. Yeah, that's easy. MVP.
He said Pat.
Who said Pat?
Joe.
Pat who?
Patrick Mahomes. Some call him MV Pat. Some call him the chosen one. And others call him the Houdini of football. But with the trajectory that he's on, it won't be too long before we all call him the GOAT. And he may just be GOATed after this play. Here against the Raiders, Pat steps up into the pocket, but right now there are two things we need to pay attention to. One is Pat's head is pointed inside towards the middle of the field, and two, Jonathan Abram is in the perfect position. But as this play continues, you see Jonathan Abram jump out of position at the very last minute. And yes, on a routine 3rd and 10, Pat Mahomes throws a no-look knowing he get the DB out of position. My problem is people think Pat Mahomes is only good because of his street ball type of play, when in reality, there are three things that make Pat Mahomes special. One is his ability to drop back and make reads better than anybody in the game. And as always, if you don't believe me, let's turn on the tape. We'll start off simple and then it'll get more complex as we go. Here the 49ers drop back into a cover 2 look, and the Chiefs combat that by running this levels concept. The corner is the guy they're putting in a tough situation here, and it's simply just reading him and hitting whichever receiver he doesn't go to. And of course, Travis Kelce draws 2 defenders, so Patrick rifles his ball to McCole Hardman in a tight window. Now this is still cover 2 here, but it's Tampa's cover 2, which is actually called Tampa 2. And all that means is the middle linebacker takes a deeper drop to almost make it cover 3 instead of cover 2. But you can see the safeties still have receivers on their side of the field, so they can't fully commit to the middle of the field. And Pat notices he has MVS one-on-one with the linebacker, and had he not slightly underthrown this ball, it would have been a touchdown. And back to the 49ers for another MVS and Pat Mahomes connection. There are tons of moving parts on this play, so let's break them down step by step. The key to this play working is Travis Kelce. This ball is going to be thrown deep towards the left side of the field, but that can't happen if a safety is on that side of the field, which there usually is in cover 2. But 10 times out of 10, if you have Travis Kelce applying pressure on a safety, he'll certainly be out of position. And if you look from this angle, you can see everything I said to be true. Pat looks off the safety by eyeing Travis the whole time, just to set up the deep ball to MVS. And if I didn't know any better, I'd say he slightly underthrew this ball so MVS would slow down and not run into any danger. And if none of those throws do it for you, here's a throw from a clean pocket where he's able to drop this right over the defender's shoulder in the bucket to Travis Kelce. Patrick Mahomes could have quite possibly just wrapped up the best season any quarterback has ever had. In 2022, he finished with a 67% completion percentage, which is the highest of his career. 5,250 yards, which led the NFL, and 41 touchdowns to only 12 interceptions. But let's dig a little deeper into those numbers. He had a 72% completion percentage in the playoffs for 703 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Pat also wrapped up his 2022 becoming the first player since 1999 to win a Super Bowl MVP, and a regular season MVP all in the same season. And that's his second MVP in just 5 years. He also tripled his touchdown to interception ratio. And the Chiefs had a two-headed monster in the backfield with Isaiah Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon, yet Pat still finished second on the team in rushing with 358 yards and 4 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes is simply amazing. The greatest, if you want to say that. But to all those people I was talking about earlier who think he can only make street ball plays, well, you're not wrong. And that leads me to my second reason. What makes Pat so great is his ability to take a 5-step drop and read the defense, while also having the ability to still make a spectacular play out of a broken play. I mean, come on, there's no reason a quarterback's body should ever be twisted like this after a throw. I mean, he's backpedaling while the ball is still in motion. And here the Chargers get pressure, and Pat's first thought is to take off and run, but he notices that they have a spy on him. So he just says, I'll at least give my receiver a chance at this ball. Dime. But let's switch it up here. We've seen what happens when teams play cover 2. We've seen what happens when Pat has to make something out of nothing. And now we see what happens when defenses try to play man-to-man. Pat can just take off and burn you himself since all the DBs have their backs turned. And don't even get me started on this NFL streets play he made against the Denver Broncos. Every Sunday, Monday, or Thursday, you could turn on your television and see Pat Mahomes doing something you've never seen before. Just like here against the Titans. Coming off this play action, there's literally nothing open. But with Pat Mahomes, this is when the play is just beginning. He's able to stop on a dime and let this defender fly, while throwing an absolute dot downfield while having another defender closing in on him as well. It's also a great catch by Noah Gray, but without Mahomes buying time, that play doesn't happen. And even if he had a sprained ankle and was sandwiched in between two defenders, he could still inch this ball past defenders. And many times we don't give him enough credit for being a nifty runner. He's not the fastest or the most elusive, but he makes guys miss at an extremely high rate all the time. And he's always liable to make a big play with his legs. Whether it was his MVP moment against the Seahawks where he dove for the pylon, or his 26-yard scramble in the Super Bowl which led to the game-winning field goal. Patrick Mahomes is everything you want in a franchise quarterback. He's humble but still a gamer. He's efficient but still flashy. And he's arguably one of the most clutchest players to ever play in this game. And he's just getting started. Patrick Mahomes has done a lot to catapult himself into this GOAT conversation while only being 7 years in. But when it's all said and done, will he go down as the GOAT? And I know I mentioned that there were 3 things that made Patrick Mahomes special, and I only went over 2. But stay tuned because my next video will be all about reason number 3. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check this video out as well, which is all about the part of this Chiefs team that doesn't get talked about enough. Peace.